Hello and welcome to IndianExpress.com. India took a 1-0 lead in the five-match Test series against England with a 246-run margin. To look at the win, we have Sandeep to assess what happened in the past 5 days. So Sandeep, let's start by looking at what moment actually changed the complexion of the match.
When you talk about the match in its entirety, I think the second afternoon when England lost quite a few wickets for. I mean, they were all for 255 in the first innings. I mean that they should have at least made some 350, 360. They had a fair bit of chance of at least drawing the match, but once that early collapse. That led them in, and if you're talking about the fifth day in particular, it was Joe Root's dismissal. Like Joe Root was the last lease of hope. If Joe Root batted at least till tea or something, they would have actually held on. I mean, with ample support from the team.
Yeah, but do you notice any of these, batting problems for England? Besides Joe Root and Johnny Bairstow doing well today, nobody else pitched in.
Ben Duckett is a serious issue. He's a very talented batsman. He's just 22 years old, and he has a first-class best of 282 not out. And he can barnstorm, and he's a very stylish batsman also. But unfortunately, he's been struggling on this kind of wickets. It's first time playing in subcontinent. He played his first match against Bangladesh. So that's expected of youngster coming into subcontinent. So hopefully the next test, they'll bring back Jos Buttler, who is a far more aggressive kind of a batsman, who's kind of enforcer.
Yeah. So we're noticing many of these changes happening in the middle of the order, especially at number 4. Joe Root used to occupy that position.
Once Joe Root progressed number 3, he's better. He's more of a utility batsman at number 3. He can bat anywhere, but the problem actually starts from Kevin Peterson's time. Once Kevin Peterson was number 4, now England had such a great batsman number 4. He could still, for example, 2012 series, how he changed the innings, he changed the match. In fact, the complexion of the entire Test series, ever since that, they've been struggling. Ian Bell, unfortunately, he's not also doing that well. That's so Ian Bell was dropped. These guys, it's a little bit of a feeble middle order, a little bit of inexperience. But Jos Buttler's return could seriously bolster them.
Switching to India's side of things, Jayant Yadav made his debut, scored 52 runs combined, 4 wickets in total. What did you make of his debut?
Jayant Yadav is a kind of a late bloomer. He's not kind of a very young kind of player. He's seen his opportunities pretty well, and he's shot. It was not kind of a rank turner where it was not, the ball was not spitting and bouncing awkwardly, but he made good use of the conditions, and he's a pretty good batsman. He has a 156 or something. He's scored in first class cricket. He's a pretty good hitter of the ball as well. So that was not much of a surprise. But he played the ideal foil to Jadeja and Ashwin in a lot of touches, a lot of turn. He altered his flight, subtle variations. He showed in the first test. He showed immense maturity. Maybe that's with age. He's 28, 29. So maybe a lot of domestic experience. So he knew the conditions pretty well, and he knew how to bowl exactly in these conditions. And speaking of Yadav also, Umesh had a great match. Both Umesh and Shami as well. The way they troubled the English batsmen, and the way Shami especially set up Joe Root was fabulous.
Looking forward to the next contest is in Mohali. The last time Mohali hosted a test match, it was a dust bowl when South Africa were here in India. So what, can we expect the same thing?
Once upon a time, Mohali was this kind of seamer's paradise. Seamers used to get a fair bit of purchase in England. In fact, won a test back in 2002. I think Andrew Flinders and all bowled really well in that series. But the last test, there was a dust bowl. What kind of wicket they're preparing for. In winter, you never know.
All right. We'll look at the Mohali test when we begin. For everything else, stick to IndianExpress.com.